Taylor Swift is officially the biggest artist of the decade and is in the top 10 on the Billboard's list of greatest artists of all time. So I would expect that the industry people would treat her like such a big artist should be treated. But she still doesn't have the rights to the songs from her 5 albums, and we have another part of the drama between Taylor and her previous record label now owned by Scooter Braun. And honestly, at this point everything is a little bit confusing. Who is in the right? Which celebs supported Taylor? Stay with me for a recap of the Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun drama and decide which side is telling the truth. So I need to do a throwback because this whole Taylor and Scooter thing started back in July. That's when Taylor on her Tumblr reacted to the news that Braun had bought the Big Machine record label where the singer started her career as a country star. So now Braun owns the masters to all 6 of Taylor's albums, which means that he makes money off of every stream or purchase of any song Taylor has released up until 2017. Now, when the news about Scooter acquiring the label broke, Taylor wrote a blog post explaining her situation. She revealed that for years she tried to gain the rights to her art back, but all she was offered was another deal with the label and earning 1 album back for every new one she released. Taylor said that Braun owning her music was her worst-case scenario because he is a manipulative bully. She's talking about that massive drama that went down between her and Kim Kardashian and Kanye West after his song Famous was released. If you don't remember, it included misogynistic lyrics about Taylor and a nude wax figure of her was used in the music video. There were also some leaked phone calls and snake emojis involved. Well, at the time of that drama, Scooter was Kanye's manager and was involved in the making of the Famous video. So can you see why she just doesn't want to be associated with Braun? But now Taylor's battle with Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta, the founder and CEO of the Big Machine label group, reached a new level. The singer took to her social media to write a message to her followers ahead of her performance at the 2019 American Music Awards, where she will receive the Artist of the Decade award. Did you know that she's won more AMAs than anyone this decade? And as she got 5 nominations this year, she has the chance to break Michael Jackson's record for the most wins, who owned 24 awards. And Taylor's no stranger to breaking records, because last year she made history as the female artist with the most AMA wins, surpassing Whitney Houston. For the occasion of this year's ceremony, Taylor was planning to perform a medley of all of her hit songs. But there's one big problem. She doesn't know what else to do. That's how she captioned the post that she wrote to her fans, in which she described the situation she's in. So Taylor claims that Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun said that she wasn't allowed to perform her old songs on television because, according to them, that would be a re-recording of her music before she's legally allowed to next year. Besides that, Taylor was forced to reveal, and this wasn't how she was planning on telling her fans, that Netflix had created a documentary about her life for the past few years. She said that Scott and Scooter had rejected the use of her older music or footage of performances for that project, even though there's no mention of either of them or of Big Machine Records anywhere in the movie. And that's not all, because Borchetta told Taylor's team that they'll let her use the music only if she does the following things. The first thing was that the singer had to agree to not re-record the copy versions of her songs next year. And that, by the way, is something she's legally allowed to do, and something she's looking forward to. Another thing was that they needed Taylor to stop talking about them. Because of that, she thought that sharing what was happening to her could change something for other artists and maybe help them avoid being in a similar situation. She also felt like the message that was being sent her way was, "Be a good little girl and shut up, or you'll be punished." This definitely is wrong. Neither of these men in no way contributed to the writing of those songs. They weren't the 14-year-old Taylor who wrote most of these lyrics in her bedroom, and they did nothing to create the relationship Taylor has with her fans. That's why Taylor knew she could ask her army of Swifties for help. She asked her fans to let Scott and Scooter know how they felt about this whole situation. She didn't have to wait long because soon #IStandWithTaylor started trending on Twitter. Taylor even mentioned the artists who Scooter manages and who apparently cared about the treatment of fellow musicians. She hoped they could help by sharing their thoughts. Yes, this is about you, Ariana and Demi. I'm not going to mention Justin Bieber because we know he sides with Scooter. At the end, Taylor added that all she wanted was to be able to perform her own music. She said that she tried to resolve this issue privately through her team, but it didn't work out. Is this really how it was? I'll tell you in a moment. Just like she asked, Taylor got the support of her famous friends. Obviously, Selena Gomez took to Instagram to write a long post defending her best friend while not caring about possible consequences. She said that, in her opinion, it was greed, manipulation, and power, and a lack of respect for the words her friend had written since she was 14 years old. Also, Camila Cabello wrote a post in which she said that it felt heartbreaking that the world was being robbed of something important when Taylor couldn't sing her life's work. Other artists who supported Taylor were Halsey, Brendan Urie and his wife, Todrick Hall, who used to be managed by Scooter, and a member of Taylor's girl squad, Gigi Hadid. Do you think that the support coming from all these celebrities can change something in Taylor's case? While Taylor fearlessly stood up to these industry men, Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta wouldn't give up so easily. That's because later, the Big Machine label group released their side of the story, and they basically implied that Taylor is a liar. They said that her statements were based on false information, and they never said that she couldn't perform at the American Music Awards, and they didn't block her Netflix special because they don't have the right to keep her from performing anywhere. And look at this, they said they're not stopping her from performing anywhere. Instead of saying, for instance, "We never said you couldn't perform your old songs." Are they trying to be sneaky? What are they trying to hide? Anyway, the statement then says that since Taylor's decision to leave Big Machine last fall, the label has been following her requests to give a license to her catalog to third parties as she promotes her current album, Lover. By the way, they don't have any income from it, because this album was released through her new label. Then, Big Machine's statement accused the singer of owing millions of dollars and multiple assets to the company. And as TMZ reported, apparently Taylor owes them $7 million. What's more, the company claims that they've been trying to meet with her privately in order to solve the situation in some way. But instead, Taylor made the decision to involve her fan base, which apparently was a calculated move that was a danger for their employees and their families. At the end of the statement, Big Machine said that the narrative Taylor created just didn't exist, and all they asked for is a direct and honest conversation. And when that happens, she will see that they have nothing but respect, kindness, and support waiting for her. As they claim, up until now, not one invitation to speak and work with them through this has been accepted. I'm so confused at this point. What is the truth here? As if that wasn't confusing enough, Taylor's representative released a new statement to fire back at the statement from Big Machine. This is too much, but let's get into it. So Taylor's rep revealed a message that was sent to her team on October 28th by the Vice President, Rights Management and Business Affairs from Big Machine Label Group. It literally said that the label wouldn't agree to issue licenses for existing recordings or waivers of its re-recording restrictions in connection to these two projects, the Netflix documentary and the Double 11 event in China. Well, that's interesting. The rep then clarified the message and called out the label's lies. So, to avoid any arguments over rights, at the Double 11 event, Taylor performed 3 songs off her new album Lover because the label felt that any live performance of catalog songs violated the agreement. The rep later said that just the other day, Scott Borchetta denied the request for both American Music Awards and Netflix. And in their statement, Big Machine never denied the claims Taylor made in her post. They just wanted to make this about money by saying that she owed them, but in fact it's been determined that they owed Taylor nearly $8 million of unpaid royalties over a few years. Alright, this is a mess. Do you think what Taylor's representative revealed is true? This is what happened in the Taylor Swift versus Big Machine battle so far. And now there have been reports that Scooter Braun is pretty annoyed with Scott Borchetta. Why? It's because he's not happy with the way Scott handles things related to Taylor and her music catalog. Scooter doesn't run Big Machine or have operational control of the company, so he hadn't taken part in these negotiations and his name is still being dragged in. What is more, an insider claims that Braun has been trying to reach the singer but she hasn't returned his calls. And he claims that the fight with Taylor is something he doesn't agree with. He's quite changed his tone since July. Do you believe in Scooter's good intentions? One more thing, what does the situation with Taylor re-recording her songs look like? While talking about the release of her 7th studio album, Lover, Taylor said that this album was really special to her because it's the first one that she would own. She also confirmed that her contract says that starting November 2020, she can record the albums 1 to 5 all over again, and she's very excited about it. Are you also excited that Taylor Swift will be able to re-record her music? Who do you think is telling the truth in this battle? Do you believe that Taylor has been wronged, or is she just playing the victim? Let's talk about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with Curiosips. See you next time.